Hey everyone, I'm Sherry Anna. I'm the author of the Emotional Detox book series and my new book, Emotional Detox Now, which releases very soon in February 2022. And today I want to talk to you about a reaction. And I want to remind you that reactions in the emotional detox world is anytime you make the uncomfortable comfortable. Anytime you make the uncomfortable comfortable. But what happens is it can be ways that we suppress what we feel. And the reaction that I want to talk about today is running when we run. And I know in your mind you might see a person running, right? And some people do run, right? They have a reaction where they walk away or they leave or they just disappear kind of thing. And that is a more extreme form of running. And then there's running from an energy perspective. And what that means is you just kind of leave your body, right? Some people call it disassociation when it comes to trauma. And I'm going to speak to it in terms of it's more of that fight or flight and sometimes freeze. But I really want to focus on the flight experience of that today. So when you flight, so you take flight, and let's just imagine that somebody is wanting to have a conversation with you. And maybe it's a conversation that's difficult. Maybe it's difficult for you to hear. And all of a sudden you take flight. Again, you physically could still be present. You don't necessarily leave. And a lot of us do that because we have children and responsibilities and jobs. And we know that if we leave, there could be really big consequences for that. So you might physically stay, but then emotionally you might shut down and in this case run. And when you run, what happens is the energy gets disappears literally. And I have felt it when I work with clients. I can pick up a pattern of running really quickly because the person feels just so there's no energy. They feel sparse. They feel like they're just gone. And here's how that impacts your relationships and your life. When you run on an energetic level, that's very scary to those that love you and care about you and count on you because whether you know it or not, they likely can pick up on that. And when we run energetically, again, and physically sometimes when we leave and we don't come back or we just take really long periods of time away, then it causes other people's anxiety to escalate, right? And when that escalates, then the behaviors can escalate around that, and the intensity and the tension all escalate. So everything kind of gets fed into each other. And here's what I know about people who have a running pattern, and is that they are running because their plate is likely full. And even though it may not appear full to you or to me, and we might think, what's the big deal? Why are they running? It might be that they're at their breaking point. They're at their max. They have as much on their plate, stress wise, stress level wise, pressure wise, expectation wise, that they can handle. And when people are at their breaking point, very often they won't say, I'm about to crumble, right? They'll save face. They don't want to show that quote unquote weak side of themselves, which isn't really weak, it's vulnerable. And so instead, energetically, they leave. They leave. And again, that just reinforces this vicious cycle. So if this sounds like you, or it sounds like someone that you're around, what I strongly encourage you to do is slow down and not try to fix or solve too many things. I think if you're at your breaking point or you're at the max in terms of the level of stress, and I get that, I've been there, that you can handle, you want to start to communicate that, and you want to to communicate that I'm at that place where I'm on the edge of exhaustion here. I have as much as I can handle. And what I need from the people around me is this. And then you have to really know what that is, right? Some people need a hug. Some people need you to hold their hand. Some people need you just be quiet, right? Everybody's different and you really have to know what you need, and that could take some coaching, that could take some time, that could take some cleansing to really tweeze that out, and that's very often what I help people to do. But I really wanted to highlight that running piece today. Of course, that's just a snippet of it, but I thought it was worth communicating to you a little bit about what's going on because it can really feed problems and conflict and disharmony and disconnect if it goes on long enough, which can again have consequences that can be very devastating and heartbreaking. And so I'd hate to see you have to go through something because it's just a pattern, right? So what do you do? Well, I'm going to tell you to cleanse. And cleanse is the 7 steps of an emotional detox. Again, it's an emotional detox now. And I also am a big fan of cleansing live. And I'm always cleansing live every Wednesday on emotionaldetoxnow.com. I've got two times every Wednesday, 2 different time slots for different time zones where I do a 30-minute live cleanse. And what's nice about that is you can just kind of sit back and receive and let myself and the guardians, the spirit, whoever's assisting me, because I do channel a lot of these cleanses to help you. And so that's what I always recommend is you when in doubt, cleanse. It will never hurt you. It won't make things worse. It's all mindful and you're not rehashing things when you cleanse. That's the most important part. You're not getting into it. You're not revisiting what's going on. You're just taking some time to process what you feel so you can clear some of those patterns so you can begin to be connected with people. And I'm not saying everything's going to be hunky dory and we're all just going to move on with our lives and everything's going to be perfect. But we can all live in harmony with one another and we can all help each other heal and we can lift each other up and do it in a way that feels very calming and grounding and respectful to each other. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of this.